Today, per viewer request, I'm making my delicious cabbage rolls.
I'm Rose Oatley. Let's get cooking.
First, we need to soften our cabbage leaves so they're easy to work with. I've got some water heating up here. It's hot, but it's not quite boiling yet. I'm going to add a whole head of cabbage into the water and cook for 8 minutes. I'll turn it every now and then just to make sure it cooks evenly. Don't overcook. You just want the leaves to become tender enough to peel away easily. Once it's done, I'll pull it out of the water and cut a little square around the core to make it easy to remove the leaves. Now, if you prefer, you can core the cabbage before adding it to the water. That works too, but I find this method just as simple. Carefully, we'll start peeling all those soft, pliable leaves, and here's a little trick. Take each leaf and cut out the thick center part, which I like to call the stem or vein. It's just too tough to roll with. My leaves are pretty big, so I'm going to cut the larger ones in half just to make them manageable. Once you've prepped your leaves, set them aside to cool down a bit. We don't want to burn our fingers when we start assembling those beautiful cabbage rolls. Before heading to the stove, chop and dice a medium onion, a little bit of parsley, and cut 4 basil leaves. Stack them, then roll them and cut them into ribbons. This technique is called chiffonade. Now let's head to the stove. In a large pan, add a couple tablespoons of oil. I'm using avocado oil. Once the oil is warm, toss in your diced onions. We want to cook these until they start to turn golden. This caramelization brings out such a rich and sweet flavor that really makes the dish special. Half of the cooked onions are going to be mixed into our filling, so let's scoop out those out now and set them aside. To the rest of our onions, add 3 minced garlic cloves or 3 teaspoons for the jarred version. Stir that around for about 15 seconds, just enough to release that amazing garlic aroma. Next, pour in 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar and give everything a good stir. This adds a nice tang. Now I'm adding 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I like mine a little chunky, but if you prefer a smoother sauce, feel free to use tomato sauce instead. To deepen the flavor, add 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. For seasoning, I'm using 1 tablespoon of thyme, 1 tablespoon oregano, and 1 tablespoon of sugar, a little sweetness to balance the acidity. To help cut the acidity even more, I added 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. You may see it bubble up a bit. Finally, season with salt and pepper to taste. Give everything a good stir, then toss in your fresh basil and 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. Let it all cook together for about a minute, just enough for those fresh herbs to release their flavor. Then we're ready to set this aside and start assembling our cabbage rolls. Now it's time to make our delicious filling. In a big bowl, add 2 pounds of lean ground beef. I prefer lean to keep things a bit healthier, but you can use whatever you like. Next, add the cooked onions we sauteed earlier. They add so much flavor. Then add 1½ cups of cooked white jasmine rice. This helps bind everything together and adds a nice texture. To season, I'm adding ½ a tablespoon of garlic powder and ½ a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. These give our filling that savory, herby kick. Don't forget to add salt and pepper, about a teaspoon each, but adjust as you like. Now give everything a quick mix to combine all those delicious flavors. To help everything stick together, whisk 1 egg and pour it into the mixture. Now for the fun part. Get in there with clean hands and mix it all together until it's well combined. This ensures every bite is full of flavor. Before we start wrapping, add a layer of your sauce to the bottom of a baking dish. This will keep the rolls from sticking and add flavor. Now let's get back to our filling. Take a scoop of that savory mixture and roll it into a log, like a little sausage. Place the log on one end of a cabbage leaf. Then fold each side and roll it up. I'll admit, I got a little distracted and didn't pull each side in, but honestly, just rolling them works perfectly too. Place each wrapped cabbage roll seam side down in your baking dish. Once all of them are nestled in, pour the remaining sauce over the top. Now here's a tip. If you prefer, you can also cook these on the stovetop in a pot instead of baking. There are so many ways to enjoy these. Cover the dish with foil and bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 175 degrees Celsius, for about 1½ to 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's been 1 hour and 45 minutes. Let's take a peek. They smell amazing. full of savory, herby goodness. It's time to plate. I love garnishing with some fresh parsley. It adds a pop of color and freshness. As I show you the final product, I have to tell you, these cabbage rolls are tender and packed with flavor. The beef and rice filling is savory and hearty, balanced perfectly by that tangy tomato sauce. The herbs add a bright, fresh note, making each bite comforting and satisfying. If you make my recipe, be sure to post a pic in my YouTube community section.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, you can support me by liking, sharing, and don't forget to subscribe for more delicious recipes. Also, be sure to check out these videos on the side. Thanks for your support and happy cooking!